Hi, Kelly George here. It's been a while since I did a video regarding multiple sclerosis. I've been having treatment and I thought it's about time I uploaded a video. I got a bit sidetracked with all the treatment I've been having. So my last video was documenting the fact that I was enduring my third relapse. I've been given treatment in a Californian hospital, even though I am British and I'm over in California at the moment. And I was having treatment and I had just finished having the IV in my arm for those very high steroids that I was given for my third relapse. And it was all to do with the fact that I had a bit of facial paralysis on my left. So my mouth was going up on one side. If you've seen the rest of my videos and my vlogs, you'll see what I'm talking about on those. So currently it's been 3.5 weeks since the 4th of December this year, 2016, that I went into the hospital with the facial paralysis. It's been 3.5 weeks. I've finished all of the treatment and today I actually finished the last lot. Well, yesterday I finished, so today was the first day of no steroids. I finished the last lot of oral steroids. So I was having steroids in hospital through an IV in my arm. I came home. I had 2 days with the nurse coming to the house, putting them in for me and giving me all the rest of my other meds to top myself up and outweigh all the side effects and all of that. Then I've done a course of oral steroids and I've changed the amount I've been taking. The first lot I had to take for about 10 days, 6 a day at 10 in strength. So that would have been 60 that was going in. And I did that for 10 days. And then I had to lower it to 5, to 4, to 3, to 2, to 1, to none. I did meet with a specialist for a follow-up appointment about a week and a half ago. He said that I was doing really well. I was reacting well to the steroid treatment and I didn't have any of these severe side effects, which I could have had. Everything seemed to be going to plan, and also saw a big difference in the outside in this actual facial paralysis. I'll talk about that in a minute, so I'm really pleased with that. So all was well. So he actually lowered what I was taking, the oral steroids. He lowered that straight away and said you don't need to be taking as much. Brilliant. Very, very happy. So now I'm just down to taking my normal vitamin D, which is a huge thing, and that's the actual reason why we're in California and why we've done this move, is because vitamin D is a massive, massive, massive thing, and really, really, really good for you, and it needs to be taken and topped up if your levels are very low, having multiple sclerosis, which mine are. So very happy, very, very happy. And now let's talk about the actual outside and how this is looking and then how I'm feeling. So I noticed it about 2 days ago that I personally think my facial paralysis has completely improved to the point I'd say 90% better. Very slightly can I see that it goes up on the left. I think people that don't know me won't necessarily see it when I first approach them, walk in a restaurant, walk into a shop, put petrol in the car, that kind of thing. I don't think anyone would actually notice it, a stranger looking on, but friends and family can obviously see it, but they think it's got a lot better too. So if I rest my face, it was to the left, so everything was to the left. So if I move my mouth back to, I think, where it should be, which I don't think there's much to do now. Slight pull, but not much. I'm so, so happy. I must admit, I didn't personally think the results would be that quick. Where I've had a mild relapse, which was relapse number 2, which was dizziness, that was affecting off balance and dizziness, and nothing obvious to the outside eye. And my first relapse in May 2015, that was a numbness. So again, it wasn't visual to the naked eye to anyone else. That took a lot longer to improve. That took literally 7 to 8 weeks to get feeling back. This has been 4.5 weeks. And I think personally, you can see the facial difference. Sorry about the screaming in the background. It's actually not my child. We're away, yay, for Christmas as a present to each other. So we're actually away in a hotel, but that's someone else's child. So I do feel for that parent. It's not mine. So visually, I think it's got better and it's improved. That was a lot of steroids that I have to. It was a lot of a higher dosage this time to what I was given back in May 2015 for the numbness that I originally had, and that's when I got diagnosed with multiple sclerosis. I didn't have the steroid treatment, wasn't as heavy and as much of back then. So I don't know if it's because it's improved so much because the treatment has been so strong this time round or not. But either way, I'm really happy. The side effects from the oral steroids, when I went from the IV in my arm, which was my last video, to then I was meant to, for 25 days, take the oral steroids, but it got shortened because I was doing well. The side effects from those, I really did notice, actually. For me, it was more mentally. I felt quite buzzy when I first took them. The first hour or 2 hours after consuming them, I felt quite hyper, like I had to do lots of things, and my mind was going quite rapidly, and I was talking quite quickly, explaining things to my husband quite quickly at the speed of light, and everything was a bit fast. Also mentally, I just felt, a little bit buzzy, like I was trying to catch up with the thoughts on my head quite a lot. And I must admit, I felt the highs and lows quite severely. For example, if my little 3-year-old was doing something that she shouldn't do, I felt like I could just blow from the speed of being calm at number one, going, no, don't do that, to, no, don't do that. I told you not to do that, to to being at level 9 or 10. I just felt that my mood swing could go from one way to the other, go from quite low to quite high within a second. So that scared me. So I must admit, I wasn't happy. I wasn't too keen being on those because they were quite strong, I believe, and that was giving me those side effects of the mood swings and the highs and lows quite severely, and I could just feel my brain just, going, rah. Sickness, didn't really have any sickness on them. Any other kind of side effects, didn't really have, to be honest. I'm quite rosy today. I don't think that's anything to do with coming off the steroids. We've had quite a warm day in California, and I've sunbathed. So that's what this is, so ignore that. But no, there was no skin irritation to them or anything like that. Increase in appetite, I have noticed weight has been going on. That's a bit rubbish being a girl. All you want to do is just keep looking like how you've always looked, especially when you're going through a relapse and you're suffering in quite a way. You're desperate to feel normal again, whatever your normal is, and compare yourself to how you've always felt and what you've always looked like before. So that's just a little thing you kind of battle with, is the fact that the appetite was bigger. I was definitely consuming more. I wasn't exercising. I felt poorly. Everyone was telling me I was suffering a relapse. So all of those things build up, and I just haven't been exercising. I've been eating a lot, and it's Christmas, so there you go. I'm sure at some point the weight will start coming off if I start running or dancing again. Fingers crossed. Anyway, I wanted to give you an update on how I was feeling, how the eye was affected on the oral steroids, and the fact that I did get a follow-up appointment here in California. They were really good. I did go to a specialist place for multiple sclerosis in Carlsbad, in northern San Diego. And it was that we have spoken about future treatments. That is something to touch upon actually in this video. So I was always aware that there were future treatments I could have regarding preventatives. There's different types of preventative treatments you can have, whether you take them orally, whether you have a daily injection. They all have very different side effects. And then also now, as research is being done, and currently is still being done, is there's long-term treatments you can have. They're a bit heavier at the time that you're being treated, but in the long run, I don't know if they're completely meant to eliminate multiple sclerosis, full stop, but they certainly slow down possibly having your next attack. Now, when I had this follow-up appointment recently, about a week and a half ago, the specialist I did speak to did explain the side effects from the different other treatments I could take on a day-to-day basis. So there is an oral one, there is an injection one. One of them gives you flu-like symptoms daily, so it's best, I've been advised to take in the evening, because you'd be then going to bed, so you wouldn't feel those symptoms until you woke up the following morning, and hopefully by that point it's been in you a while, and the side effects wouldn't be as strong when you're doing your day-to-day life. The other side effect could be from another preventative treatment would be hot flushes. And that can be quite hard for some to deal with, and yet other people probably have that treatment for many years and are absolutely fine on it, and they're happy to take that preventative. Things to talk about if you are taking preventative multiple sclerosis treatment is you can't breastfeed on some of them. I've had to make that decision to give up breastfeeding because I got a 4-month-old baby anyway. That was actually quite tough to do, and I had to make that decision when I went onto the oral steroids after my recent hospital visit, was because, with those oral steroids, I had to basically get rid of the milk and just had to keep dumping it, which was really depressing, especially when you can breastfeed and you're given that gift to be able to, and you have a lot of milk. So with the preventative treatments, it's the same thing. If you're not trying for a baby, you're not pregnant and you're not breastfeeding, then yes, that ticks a box and you can take preventative treatments. If you are trying for a baby, you are breastfeeding or you are pregnant, then no, you can't take those. So looking forward, now I've had 2 children and all the children box is ticked, so to speak, in our household, then I am definitely going to be looking at some kind of future preventative treatment. It was suggested to me that I have had quite an aggressive attack this time round. I've had 3 attacks in a year and a half since diagnosis. So it is quite aggressive, so therefore it does need to be treated aggressively. And then another thing that's been thrown into the mix regarding preventative treatment is something called Lemtrada. I don't want to talk about it too much because I really don't know enough about it to educate anybody else. This is really just a video for friends and family, so you all know how I'm doing, and obviously other people watching it if you feel like you're going through the same thing. Lemtrada, I'm very interested in. I have been Googling it a lot, and I'm going to seek out some kind of treatment and talk to a neurologist back in the UK when we return in February. I'm definitely going to do some more videos regarding Lemtrada and what my journey is going to be, because I do think I might have to go down that route. It was suggested in the follow-up appointment here by the specialist that for me to start preventative treatment anyway, even if it's just the daily tablet, and that will then basically suggest that yes, I am trying to treat my multiple sclerosis aggressively, and therefore I need to then also go on to some kind of other treatment which needs to be considered. So I think you do need to start something daily to show that you really do want to pursue the fact that you want to take a full-time, long-term preventative treatment, if all that makes sense. Anyway, this video is extremely long. Thank you so much for watching, and hopefully I'll post some more regarding my journey. But all is well. I feel so much better with myself. The outside of me, I feel, has improved by 90%. So I'm really, really happy about that, because that's a really big thing. So yeah, thanks for watching.